Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered if the person staring back is who you were really meant to become? You've done everything right. You've checked the boxes, followed the path, carried the expectations. You've been the dependable one, the polite one, the strong one, the silent one. You've adapted to what people needed. You've learned how to read a room, how to give the perfect answer, how to never be too much or too little. But somewhere along the way, you lost track of who you are when no one is watching, when you're not performing, not pleasing, not surviving. And maybe you're not sure you remember anymore. There's a version of you that never got a chance to breathe, a version of you that laughed without hesitation, dreamed without limit, loved without fear, the one who once danced without music, painted without judgment, prayed without filters. Maybe she was young. Maybe he was silenced early. Maybe they were buried beneath words like, not enough, or too much. You've been told who you're supposed to be for so long, you started believing that's all you could ever be. And so you kept becoming what others expected, while quietly grieving the parts of you that never saw the light. The world met the version of you that fit. But God, He knows the one who doesn't. He knows the part of you that still longs to sing out loud, even when your voice trembles. The part that wants to create, not because it's perfect, but because it's honest. The part that wants to ask questions without shame. The part that still believes something sacred lives inside you, even if you've forgotten how to reach it. And maybe you've told yourself, it's too late. Maybe you've decided that the real you had to be sacrificed for the sake of family, survival, safety, stability. Maybe you think you're too far gone to go back. But what if the person you were before the world told you who to be is the very person God's calling you back to now? Not to shame you, not to scold you, but to remind you, I knew you. I still do. And I miss hearing your real voice. You're not invisible to Him. Not the together you. Not the acceptable you. The real you. The one no one else may have ever fully seen, but God has loved from the beginning. Her name was Simone. She was 45, the kind of woman people admired. Calm, composed, dependable. She was the one others called for advice, the one who never raised her voice, the one who always knew the right thing to say. At church, they said she carried herself with grace. At work, they said she was a natural leader. At home, her children said she made everything feel safe. And yet, every night, when the house was quiet and her makeup was off and no one needed anything from her, Simone sat alone and wondered if anyone actually knew her at all. Not the version she learned to be, not the one she built to keep the peace, to avoid conflict, to be liked, to be enough. But the one who used to journal lyrics and cry over poems, who once dreamed of becoming a writer, but put it away when life got practical and messy and full. There was a part of her, tender, raw, creative, that never stopped whispering, even under the weight of roles she carried. She couldn't remember exactly when she stopped listening. Maybe after her second child, or maybe when the marriage started feeling more like managing than loving. All she knew was that she had spent years being what everyone needed, and she no longer knew what she needed. She prayed, of course. She never stopped loving God, but her prayers had become polite, polished, measured, like the rest of her life. She didn't ask for much anymore, just strength to keep going, just help to not break. Until one day, she found a box in the back of her closet filled with old notebooks, songs, letters to God, pieces of her soul that she hadn't touched in over 20 years. Her heart ached as she read them, not just for what had been lost, but for what had been buried. She didn't cry at first. She just sat there, stunned, realizing how long she had been holding her breath. That night, she took one of the pages and placed it on the kitchen counter. not to do anything with it. Just to remind herself that version of her was real. That version had existed, and maybe, just maybe, was still alive somewhere beneath the surface. The next morning, during her quiet time, she didn't recite her usual prayer. She whispered a single sentence. "God, do you still see her?" And in that silence, something she couldn't explain happened. Not a voice, not a vision, just warmth, presence, like someone had leaned in close and nodded. She began to cry, not from sadness, but from the relief of being seen. And that moment became the beginning. Not of a dramatic life change, not of a new job or big breakthrough, but of a slow return. A return to her softness, to her music, to her honesty. She started writing again, just a few lines at a time. She stopped editing herself so much in conversations. She said no to a few things she would have said yes to out of fear. And she began to live, not louder, not bigger, but truer. And for the first time in a long time, she didn't feel like she was performing. She felt like she was coming home to a part of her that God had never stopped calling by name. "My beloved," I saw her. The version of you you thought had disappeared. The one the world never met. The quiet artist. The spontaneous dreamer. The one who used to feel deeply and sing softly and wonder wildly. I saw her when no one else did. I saw her when you tucked her away for safety. I saw her when you silenced her voice to keep the peace. I saw her when you chose strength over softness, control over curiosity, perfection over presence. And I never forgot, not once. You thought you had to put her away to be loved. You believed that to be accepted, you needed to become predictable, presentable, polished. But I never asked for the edited version of you. I longed for the real one, the one I knit together in the secret place, the one I formed with intention and joy, the one whose laughter filled heaven long before she ever tried to earn anyone's approval. You think your truest self is gone, lost to time and roles and growing up, but she's not gone. She's hidden, like treasure in a field, and I have never stopped seeking her. Because she is not a memory to mourn. She is a seed I planted. And seeds, my child, are not dead when they're buried. They are waiting to break open, to become, to rise. You don't have to perform for me. You never did. You don't have to prove your worth by being useful, agreeable, organized, impressive. I am not moved by your productivity. I am moved by your heart. The one you've been guarding. The one you thought was too fragile to trust with anyone. Even me. But here's the truth. I already know every part of you. Even the parts you've forgotten how to access. I know the lines of the poems you never wrote. I know the tears you never let fall. I know the song that still lives in your bones, waiting for your courage to catch up to its sound. And I am not disappointed in you. I am not impatient with you. I am not waiting for you to do better. I'm waiting for you to come closer. Let me be the place where you stop hiding. Let me be the first space where you stop apologizing for being tender, emotional, bold, honest, unpolished. I can hold the full weight of you, not just the good parts, not just the version of you everyone else is comfortable with. All of you. The quiet you, the weary you, the angry you, the creative you, the aching you, the free you. You don't need to go back to who you were at 20. I'm not calling you to a season. I'm calling you to a surrender to live now, as the woman I designed, not the woman you had to become. And no, it's not too late. You didn't miss it. You're not too far gone. You're right on time for grace. Right on time for a holy unraveling of all that kept you small, all that kept you hidden, all that kept you safe, but numb. So come into the light. Again. I'm not embarrassed by the mess. I'm not shocked by your silence. I've walked with you through it all, and I'm still here. I'm not in love with your potential. I'm in love with your presence. You are not forgotten. You are not too much. You are not behind. You are my beloved. And I miss you. Not the version the world applauds. You. The one I've known all along. The one I'm calling back to life. So what if you stopped trying to resurrect the version of yourself that pleased everyone, and started living as the version God never stopped pursuing? What if you could release the burden of pretending, performing, or holding it all together, and began to trust that your softness, your honesty, your unguarded heart is not weakness, it's worship? The world may have taught you to shrink, to hide your true colors, to edit your voice to sound more like theirs. But heaven never asked that of you. Heaven delights in your fullness, not your filters. The you that feels deeply, speaks vulnerably, creates from pain and beauty alike. That you is not a threat, that you is a vessel, that you is not a problem to fix, but a story God still wants to tell. You see, the world loves your strength, but God treasures your surrender. The world celebrates your productivity, but God longs for your presence. You were never created to be useful before being whole. He did not design you for performance. He designed you for communion. And the real you, the one hidden beneath the years of shoulds and survival, that's the one He's been preparing a place for. A place not of striving, but of stillness. Not of pressure, but of peace. A place where you can finally exhale and know that you are loved, not because of what you offer, but because of who you are. You don't have to rewrite your whole life in a day. Restoration doesn't look like a spotlight or a stage. It looks like slow mornings again. Like writing one line of a song with tears in your eyes. Like walking outside and letting the sun fall on your face without rushing to be anywhere. It looks like asking yourself, what brings me back to life? And listening without shame. It looks like saying yes to things that stir your soul, even if no one else understands them. And no to things that only make you disappear further. God isn't rushing you. He's rebuilding you. And rebuilding takes time. It takes gentleness. It takes compassion for the parts of you that have long been silenced. So be gentle with yourself. Speak kindly to the version of you that's been waiting in the shadows. Invite her to sit beside you. Invite him to take up space again. You don't have to start over. You just have to come home, to yourself, to your Creator, to the rhythm of grace that says, you're allowed to be who I made you to be. Even now, especially now, and when you do, when you start to live from the truth that you are known and loved as you are, something begins to shift. You stop chasing belonging and start abiding in it. You stop asking permission to exist and begin to live as someone sent by love itself. The most sacred restoration is not when your circumstances change, but when you finally see yourself through the eyes of the one who's never looked away. So breathe, not to get somewhere, but to return to the you who was never lost, to God. To return to the voice inside you that never stopped singing. To return to the hands that shaped your soul and still call it good. So let me ask you now, who have you been hiding from? The world? Yourself? Or maybe me? You've learned to play so many roles. Strong when you're breaking, kind when you're crumbling, calm when you're drowning. You've mastered the art of being what everyone needed. And yet somewhere along the way, you stopped asking what you needed. You forgot what it felt like to be seen. Not for what you do, but for who you are. And the ache you carry in your chest? It's not failure. It's not weakness. It's a holy homesickness for your own soul. It's the part of you that still remembers what it's like to be whole. So I ask you, gently now, are you ready to stop hiding? Are you ready to believe that the truest version of you, the one the world never fully met, is still alive, still beautiful, still wanted? You don't need to be loud. You don't need to be impressive. You don't need to be more of anything. You just need to be willing. Willing to return. Willing to breathe. Willing to stand in front of me without performance or pretense and say, "This is me." Because I will never turn away from that version. In fact, I've been waiting to see her rise. I've been waiting to hear him speak again. So if your heart is trembling, if something in you feels like it's waking up for the first time in years, come. Not with answers, not with perfection. Just come. And if you need words, let this be your prayer. God, I've lived so long trying to be who others needed me to be, I forgot who you created me to be. I buried the parts of me that were soft, honest, creative, vulnerable, because I thought they weren't strong enough for this world. But you see them. You see me. The version of me no one ever really met. But you did. And you never stopped loving that person. So I come now, not as the one with all the right words, but as the one who wants to live again. Fully, freely, with you. Let this be your sacred beginning. Let this be your quiet resurrection. The world may have never met the real you, but God did. And today, so do you.